Okay, so I'm going to talk about one of my triggers this morning, apparently. Spirit is coming in very heavy right now and telling me that, yes, I need to do what I'm doing that I'm kind of being resistant and hesitant to. There are many reasons for that, and lots of them can be because of triggers. So I was in Five Below the other day, and I always stop and look at their books because they're like $5 and they have the coolest books all the time. I find very awesome stuff. I found this one that says, how can we stop reacting and start healing triggers? Which it pinged me because this is what I actually help people do in sessions. It's worked for me. It's worked for many of the classmates I have. And they're helping more people, and the stuff that we're doing healing wise and everything is really, I just don't have words for it. It's awesome. Okay. It's the best way I can explain it. And if you're open to all those things and allowing yourself to start healing, it can be very beneficial. So what I'm getting at here is, it was yesterday. I had a really, really insane day. I don't know if it was the energy. That would have been the 21st of March, 2023. I don't know what was really going on in the astral world because I haven't stayed up to date with it in the past week. So I'm a little off there. But I have this big project that I have been putting off. And then I'll go, okay, I need to go back to it and visit it so I can start working on it. I go to it, I start visiting it, and I couldn't even get the binder open before my first page. I need to eat my banana. My first page had a blip that I had wrote out of certain things of how I wanted to write my book. And it asked me this question, and I was just immediately triggered and hit with flashbacks of memories. And so then I'm off in memory land, and for me, I see visuals, kind of like movies. And it was showing me, my childhood memories that I was collecting along the way and replaying it for me. And it was sad and hard in a way because it was boom, it felt like somebody literally punched me in my gut. I was like, okay, I found a trigger. So I pull out my app on my phone because I'm sitting in the car at my kid's car line, and I just start letting it flow out. I just write. I write everything that comes through, all the stuff that I hear, and I just get it out. And if you can't type fast enough, do voice text, that little thing where you hit the microphone, and just let it flow out for you. So I got, it was 458 words out because it has the word count on it. And I was like, wow. So I got to that stopping point where I could breathe for a minute. It felt so good to just let that blurb out. And this is one of the things why I love writing. I started publishing some pieces in some books, kind of getting my feelers out there because it's I'm nervous about my big book and getting it out there. It will be my memoir kind of thing, And as I've been getting closer and further into my healing journey, Spirit has been all right, come on, Crystal. We have got to get this book going. There's something gonna be there for somebody else. My words can help someone else during their process. Your words can help someone else during their process. Sometimes it helps us to be able to look at someone else and know that we're not the only ones that are going through this. And I'm firm on that because there were times when I felt like this is just happening to me, and it wasn't. I could post something about it and I would have people show up and support me, and it's hey, I'm glad you posted that because I'm feeling the same way. There was just, just all these things that made me feel better and know that I wasn't alone. But anyway, when I opened this book up this morning, this is how spirit communicates with me a lot. Is I have to be in that flow and open state, and I listen and like do the things without questioning anymore, because if I stop and question, then it's just like I have no trust. I don't trust my guides, you know. So now I follow them. They had me pick this book. They're here, so excuse me. Gesundheit. They had me pick this book up, and right here it says, so what I'm writing about is my loss through suicide twice within like 3 years to people that were very, very close to me. And the way that grief and all hit, this book, I just flipped to random page, okay? Because they'll tell me pick it up, and just like I'll fan through it and I'll go, okay, that's it right there. So it was initially talking about the triggers and how we have our unconscious triggers. They'll happen, but we're not aware of them yet. You know, they're in our unconscious like field, our body, and like everything can be picking it up, but right here can be a little slow to gathering what's really going on. So it takes time sometimes for it to come into our awareness. This is when it become important for me to start paying attention to my body pings. What is this ping telling me? And looking at it, looking at the emotion, like what emotions am I feeling? Why? What triggered it? Like start a notebook and get a pen, and just, that's like how you're going to track it. Like boom, 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 and ask all the questions. Here's what this says. I realized something much more profound going on. Okay, so he's talking about he was watching a show, an old school show, MASH, back in the day. Okay, and this like lit my eyes up, because as a child, I couldn't go to sleep when it was my bedtime. I would stay up until MASH, I think, was the last show to run. And it would throw those lines up on the screen and make that boop noise, you know. I don't think TV does that anymore, but anyways, that's another memory thing that came in. And it says, I saw a connection between suicide and unresolved grief. A person is more likely to contemplate suicide when he can't start grieving or he can't end it. So, this is an interesting observation, because with grief, from my own experience, I know, is that like you can be drowning in it. It's almost like a, what do you call that? Like quicksand, where you're just standing there and then it's just like pulling you down. But you know, some of this is just like, we don't have those tools to get through it. We don't learn this kind of stuff in school on how to take care of a trigger. When I get triggered, what should I do? You know, like there's none of this stuff as we're growing up. And so once we get out of school, it's like we're thrown out there and it's like, okay, now you go figure the rest out. It's like they give you the minimal tool, you know, and then you've got to go apply it and like do all the things. That's kind of like how it's worked for me anyway. I don't know about you guys, may be different. But there was a scene that he was talking about on MASH. It says, the soldier in MASH episode, he finally allowed his grief to emerge fully. He started to feel it and acknowledge it. Like he pulled it into his awareness. And once you can do that and then let it go, as it says here, he emerged fully. Like this freed him for probably the rest of his life. So he was not a sinking ship, basically. He was able to climb out of it. You know, the triggers of repressed or frustrated grief, they were no longer pointed at him. Instead, he was positively triggered into resolution. And that makes me think of like when we do like CBT therapy and stuff, of reframing the trigger. I like to call it like rewrite, because, you know, I'm an inspiring writer. I don't even have the word for it, okay? Because like, I don't know. I just do half the time what Spirit's asking me to do, and follow it. So anyways, I was just curious about, you know, this whole thing about getting this piece of info here about grief and suicide, the way the two were connected. It made like this aha moment for me. And I was, I guess, posting this because it's like, who else maybe needs to hear this? Or maybe you have a different view or opinion on it that would go with this, or even go over this, above it. Let's see here. Okay, so this is, as I said a minute ago, it is the combination of letting go into our grief while we are held safely that graces us with the full antidote to despair. What a paradox indeed. Grief is our threshold into hope. Okay, what I just heard was that saying, that phrase of like, when bad things come, when bad things occur, good things, better, new, whatever, are on their way. But it's like, that's a lesson or something that we're learning. And then once you learn it, you can turn around and you can share it with others. Like, we help each other grow, which is, it's amazing. Have a good day. And this book that I got at Five Below, you can get it on the internet. It's How We Can Stop Reacting and Start Healing Triggers by David Richo. Screenshot that if you need to. I would definitely take a look at it, because it's so far, like I say, just turning to those pages, very cool, very helpful.